Dr. Condoleezza Rice's new book is called No Higher Honor, a memoir of my years in Washington. So Vice President Cheney was critical of you over the weapons of mass destruction controversy in Niger, Africa. All right, the yellow cake thing. And people remember that Saddam Hussein was allegedly trying to buy stuff and bop, 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 bop. And it, again, didn't turn out to be true. So Cheney writes, quote, you, Dr. Rice, came into my office, sat down in the chair next to me, and tearfully admitted I had been right. Unfortunately, the damage was done. Cheney referring to a difference of opinion that you guys had because you said, well, we shouldn't have included that into the president's speech when he was explaining to the American public.
Yes.
So were you crying in Cheney's office?
No.
So he made that up?
I don't know why he thought I was crying. Maybe the tears were in his eyes. No,
Did
I was
never
not
happen?
crying. No.
So this is hyperbole on the part of the Vice President?
Maybe it's hyperbole. You know, I have cried. I cried when I saw wounded soldiers. I cried a couple days after September 11th. I cried when I was sitting with the victims of rape in Darfur, who'd been raped, some of them by UN peacekeepers. But in the Vice President's office, because of a press report, no.
He didn't like you because you didn't agree with him on a lot of things. Right. North Korea terrorism watch list, you wanted them off, he didn't. Then there was the controversy over Sheikh Mohammed, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. You wanted what, to stop the waterboarding at that point?
No. I just wanted to bring Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to Guantanamo, out of the shadows, tell the American people we had the mastermind of 9/11. The United States doesn't disappear people. We say where they are.
But he didn't want that because he wanted to do it secretly. He thought he would get more Al-Qaeda's, though, right?
Well, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was pretty much past his intelligence value, we were told.
So why didn't Cheney, in your opinion, when you had this difference of opinion, I'm sure you listened to his point of view.
I did, of course.
Why didn't he want a public exposition of what Mohammed had done and where he was going?
I don't know.
He never told you?
Well, his view was that once you started down that road, you would begin to unravel the entire operation. We still had some of these people that we needed for intelligence value. But my point to him, and the President ultimately agreed, is that we had done nothing to be ashamed of.
Okay. So he didn't want any exposition of what the U.S.A. was doing at all?
That's my recollection,
okay.
Yes. Right.
All right. Now, he's a hard guy, Cheney. He's a tough guy, all right? And he wanted North Korea to be on that terrorism list. You wanted to engage them to hope that you could bring them into some kind of rationality.
No, rationality and North Korea should never be in the same sentence.
All right.
What I wanted was to get inspectors on the ground. I wanted the North Koreans to begin to dismantle their nuclear capability for plutonium bomb. And I believed we were going to learn more on the ground than sitting in Washington, D.C. and knowing nothing about the program.
Another disagreement that happens all the time.
It's a substantive disagreement.
Okay.
And these things happen all the time, not personal, substantive.
Yeah, but it was personal in Cheney's book and in Rumsfeld's book. Rumsfeld talked down to you. He said you were an academic, that you wanted to have meetings and all of that. And then you said that your joint appearances with the Secretary of Defense were disastrous. So what was the beef there?
Well, Don is a kind of irascible, grumpy guy. And I think that sometimes Don had trouble with the fact that we were now in a position of colleagues. He'd been my mentor. He'd been someone who championed my career. But again, we had substantive disagreements, not personal disagreements.
But don't you think that both guys were a little torqued off, that you were challenging them? Well, that you were intruding on their turf?
Oh, I think both of them understood that I was a national security advisor, had a close relationship with the president. I think sometimes Don thought that I was putting the president's words in, or my words in the president's mouth. That absolutely wasn't true.
So was this just a power thing, like who can get the president's ear, and they thought you were a threat?
Well, that's Washington all of the time.
But I think that's what it is.
It's Washington all of the time. And fortunately, we were able to mostly make it work. I had my job to do. When I became Secretary of State, I was no longer the honest broker. I was no longer coordinating them. I could make my own views known. And I think from the Vice President's point of view, he didn't like that I won most of those arguments, but I did.
No, I can't imagine that he would like that. Now, from reading your book, it seems to me you're glad you're out of it.
I am.
But you
It's awfully nice to be back at Stanford University. I've been there 30 years.
Watching the football team maybe go for the national championship, right? And you're a big football fan.
I'm a big football fan. We're taking it one step at a time. Oregon Ducks. And then
Oregon Ducks are tough.
They are tough.
Okay.
They are tough.
All right. All right, it's a fascinating book, and I appreciate you coming in and taking the fire. No Higher Honor, a memoir of my years in Washington.